Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm dreading I am dreading this video. I am dreading doing this video. I'm going to be honest, totally honest with you all. I am dreading doing this video. Anyways, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for coming back. If you're new here, welcome. If you're subscribed already, thanks for coming back. So in my last video, my first video for 2024, I mentioned to you all that I would be giving a story of the dreaded Thursday night I lost my grandmother last year. So let me just get straight into it. My grandmother was admitted to the hospital because my grandmother had bronchitis, and certain times, according to what she eats or just random seasons, she would be coughing and coughing blood. And she lived with my auntie in Kings Hill. I used to live with them as well, and it was one of those times when she was coughing too much blood and my auntie just decided to take her to the hospital. Actually, my auntie said she asked to go to the hospital, and anybody who knows my grandmother or hear me just talk about my grandmother, she don't like hospital. So she asked to go to the hospital, just bring her to the hospital, because she was like at the stage where she was fed up of just every time waking up my auntie to do certain things for her, because also she was blind. So she was admitted to the hospital. The day she was admitted, I went to see her. She was on casualty still because they didn't get a bed for her as yet. So when I went to casualty, the nurse told me 2 of them are there already, so you cannot go. So that was my 2 aunties, my mom's sisters. So that's my grandmother on my mom's side I'm talking about. So they called one of my auntie, and then I came. They let me enter. And then when I went down, my other auntie was inside the casualty where my grandmother was on the bed, like by the bed, talking to her. So one of the doctors, I think, I can't recall, but one of the doctors went to tell them that I was there, so my auntie had to come out so I could go. Anyways, my auntie came out. No, it was my other auntie who went to tell my next auntie, 2 sisters, that I was there. So both of them come out, and I went. And when the auntie who called me the dreaded night, when she came out, she told me, ask her a little bit of questions of how she feeling and whatever, because she maybe feel like she cannot tell them and whatever. And that was my grandmother. She didn't want none of her children to do nothing for her, but if her grandchildren ask her, she would do it. Like, for instance, she was blind, like I said. So when I used to live with them, off and on, I would go in the bathroom and say, Mama, you want me to scrub your back for you? And she'd tell me, come. But if my auntie who was in the house go in the bathroom and say, Mama, you want to scrub your back for me? She'd tell her no. She'd answer her fast, and those things. So I went in the room and I said, Mo. She said, hey, Cher. She there talking to me, and she there telling me, oh, I know what I have, you know, and they don't want to tell me what I have, but I don't want to have what I have because they're afraid I will panic and whatever. All that time my grandmother was in good spirits, good spirits, and I wouldn't go into depth of the time she was at the hospital, because that's going to be very long. But I had a meeting to go to, so I told her I was going to go to the meeting, and it was so it was a week. So it was a Thursday when they admitted her, and a Thursday when she died. So a week. I had a meeting to go to, so I told her I'm going to go to the meeting, and then she told me if I would come back and see her. So I told her yes, and I did. Came back to see her when she was admitted on the ward and whatnot. So I left to go to the meeting. Weeks passed by. Every day I would call my auntie. When I couldn't go to the hospital, I couldn't make it to the hospital, I'd call my auntie to find out what's going on, what's not going on. how is mama, and those things. Anyways, like I said, my grandma, there are certain things that my grandmother would allow her children to do for her, and then her grandchildren to do for her. So my duty was, because when I used to live with them, me and her slept in the same room. It was a bunk bed. She slept downstairs and I slept upstairs of the bed. So it was her duty, it was my duty, sorry, to cut her fingernails and her toenails and comb her hair sometimes when she wanted a style. So funny thing is that for the time I wasn't recording, no bikes, no vehicles pass. But I don't know if there's a sense that I going back on my YouTube channel, the stats pass. Anyways, when I called, when my grandmother was at the hospital and I called my auntie to find out, well, my auntie called me. She tell me, Mama said to come and cut her toenails and her fingernails for her. So I said, okay, that was a Wednesday. So I said the first day I would go. And then the first day came and I had another meeting, so I didn't end up going, and I said I would go the Friday morning or the Friday afternoon to cut her toenails. She was in good spirits as well from some drama that happened on the ward with her and whatnot. But she was in good spirits, so I said I would. Anyways, I went to my meeting and I didn't end up going and cut her toenails or her fingernails. And that Thursday night, I called my auntie when I came out from the meeting, and I told my auntie that I would go tomorrow to cut mama toenails. Early Thursday night, like when I came out from work and the meeting and those things, that was early Thursday night. About after 9 that same night, I was downstairs with my friend and we were talking and whatnot, and I saw my auntie. It was like 9 minutes to 10, somewhere around there, and I saw my auntie calling me. I watched the phone and I was like, boy, what my auntie telling me? Auntie, sorry. Sorry. But I was like, boy, what my auntie telling me then? And then in my mind, I was like, I sleeping. I don't answer in that phone. And then I was like, let me just hang up the phone because I sleeping, and I turn off my alarm. That never happened to all, where you think is ring alarm, your phone alarming and it's ringing and you just turn it off. So I literally touch my phone to turn off the alarm and it answered. So think fast, I put my phone in my ears and I pretended like I was sleeping. My auntie's getting to know all of this right about now. So auntie, I sorry. So I kind of like hang up the phone, but instead of hanging up, it answered. So I take the phone, I put in my ears, and I was like, hello. I'm not sleeping, you know. I was like, hello. My auntie said, B, you sleeping? And so I say, yes, auntie. She tell me, hospital call. She tell me the hospital call and mama don't make it. So I was like, auntie, what you telling me then? And immediately I just started to scream. So my friend was like rubbing my back, and I heard my auntie on the phone say, sorry B, and she was crying too. And then I see the phone hang up and I just start to scream. And then because my friend heard what my auntie was saying because the phone was on loudspeaker as well. So while I screaming, my friend rubbing my back and he's like, chicken leg butt. What the what the hell is going on? And then I cry, I scream, and then something wasn't sitting right in my head. So I call my auntie back. I say, auntie, so what you gonna do? She tell me, oh, she waiting for a ride for her to go and check my other auntie in Kingshill. That auntie of mine lives in the Wall House. She's going to check my other auntie in Kingshill for her to go hospital and check because they tell them to come. So I tell her I come in. She say, okay. I say, when you go in hospital you can pass for me. I crying, you know, all that time, and I tell her, when you go in hospital you can pass for me. And She say okay. So my friend tell me, Bianca, you want me to come with you? So I tell her yes. Anyways, I went upstairs, I put clothes on me. I had bathed already because this bed I was going to sleep, I was going to sleep anyways. And put clothes on me, put a sweater on me, and then me and her walk to the road, to the end of the road to wait for my auntie. And my auntie come. Those things just wasn't sitting right, and then my aunties and them didn't know how to tell my siblings, their brothers and sisters, so it was left to Bianca to call them and tell them. So first person I call is my uncle. I say, uncle, mama don't make it now. And I crying, and then I just hear my uncle go silent, and I checking like, uncle tell me, for real? But mama was good. And I checking like, yeah, that's what auntie would tell me. I waiting for them by the field to go in the hospital and whatnot. Fast forward, I called, I can't remember everybody I called. But fast forward to reaching the hospital. When I reach in the hospital, the nurses and then we had to go all the way up. First of all, we had to kind of like calm my auntie, because all the time she wasn't really crying per se. And then from time she reached in the hospital, the weakness just come upon her. So we had to calm her to come upstairs, because the ward is upstairs. So we had to go for the elevator. Then they decided not going in the elevator. So we walk up all the steps to go on the last floor in the hospital to go and see my grandmother. When we got to the top, the nurses are saying bed 18. Accept my sympathy. So I start to scream and I check like, but what you telling me sorry for? Sorry for what? Sorry for what? I have to see that for me to believe. And then when I went to the bed, I see my grandmother. I see my grandmother lie down. They cover her, except her face, and her mouth is open. So I touch her and I say, Mama. I said, Mama. And you wouldn't believe. I couldn't believe it, you know. Trying to close my grandmother's mouth, it opened it back. Trying to close it, she opened it back. And she was looking so peaceful. So peaceful. And I was like, Mama, trying to close her mouth. I literally lie down on my grandmother. Touch all where I know pulse you can find a pulse. Touch I lie down on her chest to hear her heartbeat. And in my mind, I crying, and in my mind, I saying, boy, God, I just want to hear one more heartbeat, one more, at least one more. And my auntie's screaming, my friend there, but she, my phone just going, so she was my little secretary for that night. And trust me, that was the hardest day of my life, of my entire life. And we stayed there and calling other people, and then I took other picture. I think I'll put the picture somewhere there with my grandmother hands in my hand. And I wanted to post the picture, but so many other family members did not know about it. So I took my phone and I started calling people. And I called my cousin in St. Kitts. She's another one that close to my grandmother too. So if she see that video, I know what I may be running down her eyes. So I called my cousin St. Kitts and she's telling me, but Bianca, Mama was good. Oh, you telling me now? My grandmother died. And I trying to explain to her that I can't even explain to you. I just cannot come to the terms. And I passing my phone around for different people to explain what had calmed me, what had really calmed me. It was the lady next to my grandmother. She was sleeping when we came, and then when she heard her screaming again, she got up. She shifted her curtain and she told my aunties, your only mother died with the Lord there. So I say, waiting to hear what's gonna say. She said my grandmother stayed there singing, saying her psalms, praying, and she too was touched, so she was singing with her. And then all of a sudden she tell everybody in the room good night, and she just go and sleep. And it's when the nurses was making their rounds to come and give their rounds of medication, they just make my grandmother cool. And all that time I lied on the bed next to my grandmother, touching her hand, touching her foot. I uncover her. She was still warm when we got there. It's during the time when we was there she was starting to get cold. And then you want to know the worst part I don't want anybody to go through. I would not like to see anybody to go through. Now my friend lost her mother too. So my friend was telling me, Bianca, that's the worst part. That's the part she didn't like. That's the part she don't wish on nobody, but it came on me. So I myself not wishing it on nobody. Is when Northeastern came with the body bag. And they zip my grandmother in that bag. Strap on it and put her on a wheeler. I don't even know what to call it. And all of us followed them downstairs, and I just could not see it at all. Could not look at it at all. Go through the elevator. That time we had to really go through the elevator because there was no way I was leaving my grandmother's side. I know she was gone, but there was no way I was leaving her alone. I went through the elevator. I mean, I don't have a problem with elevators. It's my aunties that have problems with elevators and those things. So I went through the elevator, and all that time my hand on my grandmother. On my grandmother. And when I got home, I just couldn't sleep at my room. So I tell my friend I come in and sleep by her downstairs. She told me, okay, no problem. I went upstairs. I take all the coat on me, I put something comfortable, I take my cover, and I went downstairs. And all during the night, I don't even know what time I fell asleep that night or that morning. Because all during the night I couldn't sleep, and I listened to my friends snoring, and I water running down my eyes, and I praying for me to just fall asleep and for it to be a dream. Trust me. I think I'm gonna stop the video there, and then I'll continue the rest of the story in another video. So stay tuned, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notifications so you get a notification every time I post a video, and stay tuned for the rest of the video.